Oh, okay. That's a game that you can't lose. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Full Command Show. My name is Grant Mitchell, and we are here to talk about the Commanders losing to the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football in Week 6, 25-24. The Bears' exact revenge for the Hail Mary game last year. They beat the Commanders in prime time to move to 3-2, while the Commanders fall to 3-3. According to betting odds, now just a 33% chance to make the playoffs. Guys, this is the 5 Names to Remember series, which is my official breakdown of everything that happened in the Commanders' latest game. We're going to talk about what happened out on the field, the people that made it happen or did not make it happen, and then transition to the 5 Names to Remember, the 5 players that stuck out for good, bad, and ugly reasons. Guys, if you are a Commanders fan and you're grieving, if you're a Bears fan and you're here to gloat, or if you're someone who's just an eternal optimist and you've already got the clock set to next week, whatever that is, make sure you hit the like button. Helps support the channel, helps me grow. Appreciate you guys being here through wins and through losses, as always. As we go through this video, your job is to go to the comment section, leave me your thoughts on everything that I'm saying and everything I'm not saying. If you feel like I missed something, or if you feel like my opinion's correct, it's incorrect, whatever, go to the comment section. This is an open forum, an open discussion. And as always, I love gauging the pulse of everybody out there, and I hope you will participate. So the game script. The Commanders just cannot start a game well. They are the worst first quarter team in the NFL. They fall into a 13-0 hole. And it wasn't even honestly until the fourth quarter that I really sat there and thought about it. You fall down, I think it was 14-0 to the Packers. You fall 10-0 to the Chargers. You fall 10-0 to the Falcons. You fall 13-0 to the Bears. Who do I assign blame to here? Everybody deserves blame, and not in a toxic way. But when things go wrong, someone or something is responsible. Is this Dan Quinn? Is he not getting the team ready to play? Are the players not executing? Is the play calling wrong? Is it mental mistakes? You can point to Jayden's interception, which we're going to talk about in this game in particular. But man, I am just sick and tired of opposing team gets ball, opposing team scores, Commanders go 3 and out. In this game, Commanders turn ball over, opposing team scores. I'm just sick. You cannot win football games this way. I get last year, the cardiac Commanders had to get everything done right at the end of the fourth quarter, right in overtime, to live up to that mantra. Obviously, they weren't trying to do it, but it felt like it was a script that they were just following. Well, now they've upped the ante. Now they're like, no, we're just going to be losing the entire game. And literally the cardiac Commanders, because you're going to get a heart attack in the first quarter. You don't even have to wait to see if the game-ending field goal is going to go in. You're going to get a heart attack in the first quarter because we're going to go down. Like, guys, just come out and assert your authority. Come out with the better game plan. Come out with more physicality. Come out with more desire. I don't know what it is, but this team just cannot get a good start. Obviously, in this game, the Jayden Daniels interception. The Bears came into this game with the highest interception percentage in the entire NFL, but they also had like bottom 3 passing metrics everywhere else. Basically, they were boom or bust. Either they're taking away the ball or they're giving you anything you want. Well, Jayden Daniels is late up the seam. Debo comes across in motion, goes up. He has him open for a touchdown. He's a little late. Also underthrows him a tad. I believe it was Brisker who steps in, takes the interception. Brisker, Gordon, one of them. They step in, they take the interception. Jayden's first of the year. And at that point, I'm concerned because I'm like, great, here it is. This is just the ultimate game where the Commanders have the chance. They can go top of the NFC East with a win. The Bears, you know that respectfully, Bears fans, if you're watching this respectfully, this is your Super Bowl. You've been talking about since the Hail Mary game. You guys are coming off of a bye week. Also, Ben Johnson, we know the history he has with the Commanders front office. He got knocked out in the playoffs by them last year. Like, this was a massive game for the Bears. And while I thought the Commanders were the better team and I thought that they were going to win, I did say repeatedly on this channel, make no mistake about it, the Bears are coming here to win this game. Chicago immediately established the running game, lots of horizontal gap scheme stuff they found a ton of success with, and it was exactly what I felt, what the emotions I felt when the Commanders were facing the Lions in the playoffs last year, because yes, they won that game, but anytime the Lions put the ball in the hands of Jahmyr Gibbs, Dave Montgomery, they got anything they wanted. And Ben Johnson, I could see the similarities, the horizontal stress, exploiting their lack of speed in the middle of the field, the gap scheme work. It was excellent. And one thing the Commanders have done a great job of this year with their defensive line, specifically Javon Kinlaw, is they start them in motion. You're not just going straight forward trying to plow through a double team. A lot of times we're working sideways, we're getting twists, we're getting stunts, we're going to the gap next to us, and that's how we penetrate. Well, Ben Johnson used that against the Commanders. He exploited it perfectly. DeAndre Swift, who had been the worst starting running back in the NFL entering this game, was outstanding. 14 carries for 108 yards, and then he comes up with a massive receiving touchdown later in the game that we are going to spend plenty of time on. I promise you, we are going to get a full analysis of that. But a great job by the Bears establishing the run game early. On the flip side, they had the worst run defense since 1934. They were allowing 6.1 yards per carry. Not in this game. They did a great job of bottling up Bill. Now, Bill was running hard. Got to give that to the kid. He was running hard, but he was stopped. He did fumble for the second straight week. And Jayden Daniels on those read options really had nowhere to go. Later in the game, Jayden found some success with his legs, but that was scrambling. It was never it was a designed run or a read option he would take off. No, the Bears were all over it. So they put that bye week to good use. They came in fully prepared, and they dominated the early parts as far as game plan versus game plan. Now, as the game wore on, Caleb Williams' inaccuracy did flare. And Bears fans, I'm not trying to take away from your celebrations, but this is a real concern with Caleb still. Caleb was the least accurate quarterback entering the game, or maybe second least accurate. What point being, he'd missed an awful lot of passes, and he missed a lot of passes in this game. And honestly, in some ways, that masks what this could have been. Because when the Commanders were getting pressure, Caleb was flustered. He was getting rid of the ball. He was rolling out to the side, throwing accurate passes, throwing it away, getting sacked. When there wasn't pressure, he was able to pick apart that zone defense. And if he had made a couple more of those passes, or maybe when he was pressured, he was rolling out, if he had connected on a couple of those just by being more accurate, this final score could have looked a lot different. Even still, the Bears won the battle as far as total yards and yards per play. Excuse me, I've been sick for like a week right now. My voice has just been giving out randomly at different times. I'm sure shouting to my microphone isn't the best thing for it, but I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Make some tea with honey? Will that help? I'll figure it out after I finish recording this. But if you see any more of those transitions, giving a break, drinking some water, trying to get better. But back to what I was saying, Caleb Williams' inaccuracy, it was an issue for the Bears in this game, but not enough to the point that it detracted from the final score. Now, the Commanders, after their terrible start, they have a chance to bring it within, I think, 3 or 4 points going into halftime. Lo and behold, Matt Gay misses a field goal. We are just incapable from kicking from beyond 50 yards. I know he made from 53 later in the game, but it's just there's no guarantee. It's like this team, if you don't score a touchdown, you don't know that you're getting points. That's what it feels like. With other teams, honestly, these days, you get inside a 60-yard field goal, you think, okay, we got points on this drive. I don't have that feeling with the Commanders. I don't. I didn't have it at any point last year. I didn't have it with Seibert. I didn't have it with Zane Gonzalez. I didn't have it with, who was the guy we brought in from the Browns who was here for like a day? I don't have it with Matt Gay. I'm tired of this feeling. I'm tired of, as if we didn't put enough pressure on Jayden's shoulders last year. Now this year, again, on top of the slow starts, it's like, no, you have to score a touchdown every drive, or we don't know we're getting points on this one. As we get into the second half, the running game continued to wear down for the Bears. A couple of explosive plays here and there. Preston Smith and Jalen Holmes, respectfully, neither one of them are supposed to be on the team right now. Holmes is supposed to be on the practice squad. Smith is supposed to be not retired, but out of action or haven't signed with a different team at this point. The Dietrich Wise injury, the Javonte Jean-Baptiste injury necessitated they be on this team, and you can see they're out of place in certain spots. Specifically, I felt it in the running game. They did not set edges well at all, so a lot of the outside zone stuff, when you had guards pulling around, I felt like the Bears did a great job of exploiting those weaknesses on the edge, so that was noticeable as the game wore on. Penalties played a big role in this game. Mikey had a shot at an interception in the red zone, dropped it. The very next play, Rome Odunze catches a touchdown. However, it is called back for an illegal formation, illegal procedure, one of the two. Beneday wasn't set, wasn't up on the line of scrimmage, the left tackle. A lot of Bears fans and the commentators, Troy Aikman, they were saying, I don't like that call. I don't agree with that. I think the refs just bailed out the Commanders. From what I saw, it it looked like he wasn't on the line of scrimmage. Maybe it was just the angle that I got on TV. If someone feels differently, please go to the comment section and let me know. It looked like the right call to me, I'll be honest, and my team lost the game. So, like, this isn't me making an excuse. If the Commanders had won, then I could be accused of using that as an excuse, but I felt like it was the right call. But then the very next play, Dorrance Armstrong comes up with a sack. And at some point, I don't think it was that drive, but at some point in the fourth quarter, you get a blocked kick from Daron Payne. And the Bears at that point in the game have to be kicking themselves thinking, man, we missed so many opportunities here. The Commanders started slow. Jayden threw his first interception of the year. How do we find ourselves in the spot? And once you got Jayden rolling, man, the second half, the offense, despite not having Terry McLaurin, despite not having Noah Brown, despite the constant reshuffling, Chris Moore's your wide receiver one. He led the team in receiving yards. He was out there on the first play of the game. Despite all of that, that offense was clicking in the second half, man. Jayden was scrambling. Bill found a little more success. You were connecting on some deep shots. And then just great work in the red zone or the near red zone. Luke McCaffrey's touchdown. It was set up perfectly by Cliff Kingsbury. All the bubble screens, they ran Debo on a bubble. The defenders dropped down thinking, knowing in their minds the bubble screen was coming. Luke just leaks out right behind it, and then goes for a touchdown. It was a similar sort of concept to Jamison Crowder's first touchdown in the Eagles win last year. There was a screen, I forget to who. Crowder goes up like he's going to block, and then he leaks out. Jayden hits him in the back of the end zone. It might have even been the same play. I haven't looked at it. I would have to go back and check, but it's a similar sort of concept. Luke walks in for a 33-yard touchdown. Zach Ertz on a nice angle route with a switch release, finds himself free in the back of the end zone. Jayden rifles it through zone coverage. That puts the Commanders up 8. A quick word on that. It didn't come to be for anything, but I did feel like Dan Quinn made another game management mistake. So because when that touchdown happened, the Commanders were up 7 before anything else happened, before an extra point. The right thing to do there is go for 2, because if you get it, you're up 9. It's a 2-score game. If you miss it, you're up 7, and the Bears aren't going to go for 2 to try to win the game. Most likely, they're not going to go for 2 to try to win the game. Dan Quinn, by kicking the extra point, he kept it a 1-score game. Now, the Bears went for 2 later on, did not get it, so it didn't end up mattering. But as I've said on this channel numerous times, one of my personal mottos is it's never the right time to do the wrong thing. Dan Quinn did the wrong thing there again. So game management stuff, the timeout usage. There was a weird situation last year, something about being up 5. I can't remember what it was, but I've seen this a lot from Dan Quinn now, and it's going to lose the Commanders a game one of these days because he just doesn't have to seem to have a great grasp on it. So something to be aware of. The worst play of the game, undoubtedly, the DeAndre Swift 55-yard touchdown reception. The tackling issues were back for the Commanders in this game. Quan Martin absolutely blew it on the sideline on this one. But I don't know what's worse. Now, Quan got caught in some traffic trying to get out to man coverage, whatever. It was a first down or it was a gain, whatever it was. It's unfortunate. You'd like to force incompletions on every play, but whatever. Just go make the tackle. You're literally on the sideline. Just bump him. He might fall out of bounds. I don't know what's worse. Quan Martin's inability to come up with the play in that spot, or Marshawn Lattimore lollipopping it over, slow jogging, assuming the play is dead, standing by and watching, and then, oh, what's that? DeAndre Swift is running downfield. Oh, I guess I got to go tackle him now. And you see the panic on Lattimore. He goes from decelerating and jogging over to a dead sprint, but it's too late, and you give up a 55-yard touchdown run. I don't know what's worse, but that is egregious mistakes by both Quan Martin and Marshawn Lattimore. And Quan's is worse from the football perspective, literally, but from the identity, from the intensity, from the desire, from everything this coaching staff always communicates to me. We are a band of brothers. We're Rough Riders. Not everyone gets down like us. The way we play, it's not for everybody. We're going to run and hit. We're going to fly to the ball. All of that stuff. They have like 5 pillars. They say all the time. Marshawn Lattimore violated all of them on this play. He just walked right over, assumed Quan was going to make the play. When he didn't, Swift burst free for a touchdown. We saw this happen on Ashton Genty's huge run going into the, or no, sorry, it was Bijan. It was Bijan Robinson's touchdown run in the first quarter against the Falcons. Everybody's just waiting around in the middle, assuming the play is dead, And then, nope, he burst ahead for either a big gain or a touchdown, whatever it was on that play. We have seen this before. So here's my question once again. Is Marshawn Lattimore at fault? Is he just so thick that he's not listening? Is he not trying? Is his cardio not good enough? Is it Marshawn Lattimore's fault? Or is it the coaching staff's fault for not instilling the values they tell me that they are? Because it's one or the other. And I'm not here to say which one it is, but it is one of them. So I need accountability. And this is a perfect transition, a perfect segue to Jayden Daniels fumbling. The game's over. You've got your foot on the Bears' necks. Now, granted, maybe they're breathing a little bit because of that swift touchdown. You've got your foot on their necks. I don't know what was going to happen on that 3rd and 1. I don't know if Jayden was going to keep it on a read and get a first down. I don't know if Bill was going to get first down. I don't know if it was going to get stuffed. I don't know what was going to happen. But if Jayden holds on to that football, the Commanders have a chance to get the first down and put the game away, or they punt and pin. Tressway's awesome. You probably pin the Bears back at the 10-yard line. You would like to think you're going to hold them out from scoring. You win the game. Jayden Daniels just fumbled. He didn't even drop the snap. He caught the snap, and then as he was moving it over to hand it off, he just dropped it. And that's the game. That's the game right there. Now, could the Commanders' run defense have been better? Yeah, you gave up an 18-yard run to Swift on 2nd and 12. And if that doesn't happen, it's a long field goal. Heck, maybe even get the ball back. More tackling issues, more great designs by Ben Johnson and the Bears. All of that is true. But Jayden goes to the postgame podium, press conference, says, this is all my fault. I lost the game. Bill had no chance. Don't put that on anyone but me. Now, I'm not excusing Jayden for what he did. And Jayden, I'll give you guys a spoiler. He's one of the 5 names to remember. And we're going to talk about him. But Jayden takes accountability for it. With other players, with other situations, other members of the coaching staff. You leave me a lot of question marks. So when I see Lattimore walking over there, I need someone to take accountability. I need him to say, that's my fault. I need Joe Wood Jr. to say that's my fault. I need Dan Quinn to say that's my fault. Because in the absence of that, I'm going to start picking out who I think's responsible for that. And that's a dangerous place to be in because I'm not inside those walls. I'm not in the locker room. I don't know what is wrong. But if the team's going to continue to protect itself and hide behind this brother mentality, and that means that we can't call out anyone for individual mistakes or we can't hold individuals to higher standards, then what are we really doing here? Some stats from this game. The Bears averaged 2.8 yards before contact per carry. They did an amazing job of getting the initial push on the offensive line. That had been a specialty of the Commanders. Bill in this game got 0.6 yards before contact per carry. The Bears were all over in the backfield, stuff and everything, and he wasn't breaking a lot of tackles. The Bears found tons of success using gap scheme runs, like I said. Talked already about Smith and Holmes not setting the edge as well. I could have missed it. I watched this game late at night. I actually came back from a wedding, and I had the game recorded, so got back to it at like 10:30 or 11 o'clock, and I watched it from that point on, and I was skipping ahead a little bit, so not that I was skipping plays, skipping through commercials and stuff, skipping through lulls in the game. I could have missed it. I felt like they used Kinlaw's movement against him. Like I kind of mentioned earlier, I felt like they were prepared for some of his slants, attacking the gap next to him. If he's lined up over the guard and then working out towards the tackle, I felt like they were prepared for that. I'll have to go back and watch the film to check. Missed tackles in this game. The Bears had 4, Commanders had 8. No surprise there. This team just can't tackle. Again, if I don't hear from the coaching staff, we have to teach them to tackle better, or if I don't hear from individuals, I'm not executing my fundamentals, I'm going to start assigning blame because this is a recurring issue. This is a theme. This team cannot tackle. They could not tackle last year. They can't tackle now. And it's plays like that one to DeAndre Swift that will lose games. The Bears, despite me saying all these negative things, the Bears only went 3 for 10 on 3rd down and 0 for 1 on 4th down. The Commanders were -3 in the turnover department. And anytime you're -3, you deserve to lose. But the best chance you have of getting yourself back is by being great on 3rd down. The Bears were the number 1 3rd down offense, number 1 3rd down defense, number 6 3rd down offense in the NFL. And the Commanders did a great job on 3rd down, although it didn't matter. And then finally, my final stat here before we get to the 5 names to remember portion. Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, and Deebo Samuel combined for 4 receptions for 15 yards in this game. Your 3 highest paid receivers, your 3 guys, your 3 starters, 4 catches for 15 yards. Now, obviously, Terry and Noah didn't play, but this speaks to the larger point that I'm making. If you're spending this kind of money, if you're trading these kind of resources, and Deebo's been really good this year, okay? This was his first bad game, so I don't want to feel like I'm bagging on him too much. But it's these moments where you need a playmaker. And you look at the box score, and Chris Moore is your leading receiver. I get it. Jayden is awesome, but we have to help the guy. We have to. You need to go into the draft and invest in more higher or lower, I guess technically, round receivers, running backs, tight ends. Get some, make a big trade. Probably don't, because we need draft capital, but make a big free agent signing. Enough of these one-year deals for veterans. Go make a big move to help him out. A guy who is always going to be there to make the big plays. Because we have seen so many times this season that playmaker just isn't there. And you're depending on the offensive line. You're depending on Bill. You're depending on Jayden. And it's just not a viable, sustainable, long-term method to winning games. What does this mean? I'm worried about the team. 3-3. Chance to take the NFC East lead is gone. Like I said, betting odds say they have about a 33% chance of making the playoffs. The moments of magic just aren't there. The brotherhood manifested itself on the field last year. I'm not saying that players are turning their backs on each other, but I don't see the big plays being generated by it this year. Just looks like a bit of an average team with ups and downs. And let's be honest, the wins against the Giants aren't a good team. Winning against the Raiders aren't a good team. Winning against the Chargers, that was good. That was one good win. You've got one good win in 6 weeks so far. And your upcoming schedule is at Cowboys, at Chiefs, Seahawks, Lions. I had high expectations for this team. I said if they're serious contenders, they'll win 4 of their next 5 before the Bears game, so include that in the 5-game stretch. Well, you can't win 5 out of 5 now. So now you're hoping to win 4 out of 5 by winning those next 4 games? Do you know how unrealistic that is to me, looking at what I've seen from this team so far this season? I think 500 is probably what you're looking at. Heck, maybe even 1-3. I don't know. I don't wish for that, but I can only judge what I've seen so far this season. So, on that note, let's talk about 5 names to remember. For those of you who are new here, or in case you forgot, the 5 names to remember portion, I identify 5 players or coaches who stuck out for various reasons. We have a grading scale that consists of 4 different colors. We have a red for that was awful and you lost us the game, a yellow for that was bad, I'm very hesitant on you moving forward, a green for good job, played a good game, dark green for a game ball, best player on the field. We don't give out game balls in losses except for extreme circumstances, and today is not one of those days. We do not have a game ball. We're going to start it off with a yellow square for Jayden Daniels. Now, Jayden's numbers were fine, 263 yards, total yards, 3 touchdowns, that's good, but 2 turnovers. First interception of the year on the first possession in the red zone. Got to score when you're in the red zone. And then he drops the ball. And it's a weird play that'll probably never happen again in his career. Again, it's not a botched snap. He catches the snap, and then as he maneuvers the ball, he lets it go. And it was clearly very slick out there. You could see the rain coming down. Zacchaeus had a bad drop. Bill had fumbled. Jayden had fumbled early. I think he just dropped it and popped right back up to him. Clearly, the ball is affecting players all over the field for both teams, different positions, everything like that. But still, you just can't do that. Forget even converting the third down. If you just hold on to the ball, you probably win the game. Going into that 3rd and 1, the Bears are something like plus 450 on the money line. So that means they have a less than, that's probably, they have I don't know. I don't, they have a 15% chance to win the game, something like that at that point, maybe even less than that. Not very likely that it's going to happen, bottom line. And then Jayden just handed the game to them without trying to, obviously, but he just handed it to them. Now, I'm not going to give him a red because, like Zach Ertz said after the game, we're not in the game if Jayden doesn't play as great as he did. And that offense, with Deebo being so limited, with Terry McLaurin not being there, with Noah Brown not being, the offense still looked great. Like, you saw the elite offense. Cliff opened up the playbook. The deep shots were there. You had the great play to Luke, which I already talked about. You had Jalen Lane burning Tyreek Stevenson on the right with a double move. Jayden hits him for 38, 39 yards. You see all that happening, but then he just hands the game away. So at the end of the day, if he doesn't do that, the Commanders most likely win this game. So It's a yellow square for Jayden Daniels. We do have a green to give out. Third straight week, I believe, for this guy, Luke McCaffrey. I'm going to continue to give him green boxes, and this isn't a favoritism sort of thing because I know Luke is a divisive player, and I'm not a Luke fanboy by any stretch, but I'm going to continue to reward him if he continues to produce. Luke on special teams has just been outstanding. It feels like every other return, he gets it out to the 40. He had one of those, which was actually called back, but he still got out there a couple of times. Football is like a tug of war. And if you're not getting it into the end zone, think about the end zone is where you win and then you reset back in the middle. If you're not getting into the end zone, well, your average field position, that's the rope you're pulling. And if most teams are starting their drives at the 25 or the 30, and Luke's getting you to like the 38 or the 42, somewhere in that range every time, you're winning the tug of war. So it's easier for your offense to score. And then on top of that, he comes up with another touchdown, catches the 33-yard pass from Jayden, like I said, wide open. It was more play design than anything. He didn't really do anything special, but he did execute it. And he was the guy who caught the pass. So green for Luke McCaffrey. I think this, like I said, this is his third week in a row, and he's really stepped up into his role. I think he should continue getting snaps when Noah Brown gets back, just because Noah Brown's not a part of the long-term future. Heck, he might get injured the week that he gets back. You never know with that guy. So Luke is consistently showing us some stuff, and I like what I've seen. We're going to go to a yellow now for Quan Martin. I believe this is Quan's first time in the 5 Names to Remember series. And Quan has made a lot of big plays, and he's also given up a lot of big plays. So his time's been coming. Let me put it that way. There have been enough big plays. You know, he had the great fumble, the forced fumble against the Chargers last week, but there have been enough big plays that have happened to him, a lot of them in coverage. Now, ironically, he was good today in coverage. He had a couple of deflections. He also had a tackle for loss. But if there's one player, one area of the field, big chunk plays seem to continue to happen to, it's your responsibility, it's your man, it's your zone, then I've got to call you out for it. You have to make that play on DeAndre Swift. You got to tackle him. You got to knock him out of bounds. You got to do something. And as much as Jayden's play was kind of the nail in the coffin, the Bears had to go 10, 15 yards to get in field goal range. They obviously got further than that, but they still could have kicked it. They don't have a chance to do that if Quan Martin just does the easiest thing in the world, just run over and tackle him, knock him out of bounds, and he doesn't do that. The Bears were reeling at that point. The Commanders were up by 8 points. They had scored on every drive in the second half. Jayden was playing at that MVP sort of level. You were seeing the difference between him and Caleb Williams at that point in the game, and it just equalized everything. Sucked the air out of the building. It's like, man, it's never easy with this team. And then, of course, we know what happens. They go on to win the game. So, Quan Martin, yellow square. Not pulling any punches here. It's a red for Matt Gay. I truly don't give a you-know-what that Adam Peters gave him the most guaranteed money for a kicker in league history. And obviously that looks horrible in hindsight now, but I don't care. It's not a situation where you paid your quarterback $80 million. And what are we going to do? Cut him? We can't do that. That's cap suicide. That's not happening with this kicker who's making however much he's making, a couple $1 million. If he makes that field goal from 50 yards, we probably win this game. It changes how everything plays out. I get it. That happened in the second quarter, and the whole second half could have looked a lot differently. But just looking at the final score, the Bears win by 1 point. What happens if Matt Gay gives the team an extra 3 points? Bears can't kick for the win. They got to drive down the field. They got to get in the end zone. This guy is kicking 71.4% on field goals. That's 35th in the league. There are 32 teams. He's 35th in field goal accuracy. He's made 57% of kicks from 50 plus. It's just not enough. It's that simple. It is not good enough. Now, the big issue here is I don't know who's out there on the market. And for everyone who's frustrated, saying, why haven't we replaced Matt Gay? Why haven't we cut Matt Gay? Do you know who the better option is? Seriously. And I'm not saying that patronizingly. I don't have a beat on which kickers are available on their couch and are in shape and come in and do a better job. I just think it was a massive mistake by Adam Peters to give him the money that he did. And when you get to the offseason, you're going to have to sign someone else. You might even need to draft somebody. But right now, it genuinely feels like the Commanders have to score a touchdown or there's no guarantee they're getting points. So it's a red for Matt Gay. Until something changes, I will never trust Matt Gay. Our final player in this video, it's going to be a green for Frankie Luvu. Wanted to give him a shout out. I think Joe Witt Jr. and Luvu himself are still figuring out how to get back to being as impactful as he was last year. Teams are playing him much differently than they did last year. Last year was very much his breakout, but you've seen him start to be better and better in recent weeks. And this game, I actually thought he played very well. He had a huge deflection on 4th and 1 near the red zone for the Bears. It looked like he was supposed to blitz, but then he kind of just evaluated the play and backed off of it a little bit, read Caleb's eyes, and then he dove, got a hand up, blocked the pass that the Commanders got the ball back because it was 4th down. He got a sack on a play where he just rocked Caleb out of bounds. He had a tackle for loss, 6 tackles. Felt like he played a pretty good game. But those are my 5 names to remember. A yellow for Jayden Daniels, green for Luke McCaffrey, yellow for Quan Martin, red for Matt Gay, green for Frankie Luvu. I considered some for Mike Sainer still, consider something for Dan Quinn. Anybody blaming Joe Witt Jr. out there, by the way, this was not Joe Witt Jr.'s fault. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't think it was. If you have a difference of opinion, go to the comment section and let me know and try to enlighten me. But overall, guys, do make sure you leave me your thoughts on everything I said in this video. What do you think the biggest culprit or who the biggest culprit in the loss was? What do you think the biggest reason was? Any players I forgot to mention? Outlooks moving forward? Whatever's on your mind, go to the comment section. Let me know. Hit the like button if you did enjoy this. It's not easy making these videos after losses, so I appreciate you being here. Hit the subscribe button if you're new around here, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a great day.